The UFC is back this year, 2025, with the first card taking place this Sunday, the 12th of January at 2 a.m. South African time. It is UFC Fight Night. Mackenzie Dern taking on Amanda Ribas live from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. All of this and more. Full breakdown up next in Fighting with Friends. Oh, I am loving that opening song, dude. It's just such an absolute killer. All right, I'm going to break this fight card down with the one and only, the OG, the number one contender, the undefeated guy at the Fighting with Friends. It is my man, Babu. How's it going, broski?
Lekker, man. Lekker. Happy to be here. Compliments of the season to everybody that's watching. Also, you see the new intro. We here for business. We here for the smoke. We here for everything.
We're taking over. But as you say, Babu, yeah, Happy New Year's to all our supporters and fans and viewers out there. But it's good to have you back, Babu. It's good to be doing this again. Another year, fresh, more fights, more intriguing matchups to look forward to for this year. But like I said, the UFC starting off with a nice banger, a good fight card. I was going through it and I thought I was quite impressed with the matchups that they put in this fight card. So I'm sure you feel the same way. How do you feel about it?
Definitely. I do think this fight card is not one meant for like non-fighting fans. I think if you're a fight fan, this card does intrigue you a little bit because all the matchups are well put together, and especially the main event. The main event, I think, has like a nice road to forward because whoever wins here, we could see something come from this, especially start of the year.
Absolutely. So, like you said, it's a nice main event they put together, and it's also a rematch between the two Brazilian superstars in the UFC right now. I say superstars. I mean, they both haven't had the title yet, but they are pretty much some good household names in the UFC right now. So let's go straight to it, Babu. We're gonna have our main event. We're speaking about Mackenzie Dern taking on Amanda Ribas for the second time. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mackenzie Dern won the first one. But anyway,
No, I think Ribas won the first one.
Ribas won the first one. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Thanks for that. But we are going to go straight into it, Babu. I'm going to give some statistics first before we actually go into a little bit of a fight breakdown for it. Starting with Mackenzie Dern, she is currently ranked number 6 in the women's strawweight division. Her record in the UFC is currently record in the MMA is currently 14 wins, 5 losses, and 0 no contests. She's got 7 wins by submission, 6 first round finishes. She's got a 40% striking accuracy, which is quite good for someone who doesn't really strike that well. 17% takedown accuracy, which is absolutely shocking for someone who is a ground specialist or grappling specialist. And she's got a 30% takedown defense. A significant striking average per minute is at 3.43, which is really good. Her last fight, she beat Gardines in the last fight by unanimous decision and also lost to Amanda Lemos prior to that one, as well as Jessica Andrade. But she is looking to bounce back. As I said, she beat Gardines in the last fight and looked really good in that last one, by the way. As for her opponent, Amanda Ribas, who I thought was actually going to get to stardom before Mackenzie Dern, by the way, because she was doing it. She was doing a bit better, but went on a bit of a downward spiral. But now back up again. She's currently ranked number 8 in the strawweight division, women's strawweight division. Her record is currently standing at 13 wins, 5 losses, and 0 no contests. 4 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub, and 5 first round finishes. She also has a 40% striking accuracy, but a 51% takedown accuracy and an 85% takedown defense. So she's actually a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more well-rounded when it comes to the game of MMA. I do think that she's a little bit on the inferior side when it comes to jiu-jitsu in comparison to Mackenzie Dern, but this is not a jiu-jitsu match. This is an MMA match. Amanda Ribas striking differential is at 4.63 per minute. Her last fight, she lost to Rose Namajunas, and then before that, she beat Pinero by TKO. Okay, Babu, on all of that notes and that some numbers for you to look at, how do you think that this rematch is going to play out between these two up-and-coming or two high prospects?
I've been a Amanda Ribas fan since I've seen her against. It was, I think it was around about when she just started fighting. I think it was the Mackenzie Dern first fight, and then I kept following her, and she's such a frustrating fighter because, like, I love the way that she fights. She just doesn't get the finish, and it's so hard to put her away as well. So
Mm-hmm.
she just generally grinds out decision wins,
Yes.
and she's such a up and down fighter. And like you said, you thought that she was gonna reach stardom just because of
Mm.
her fighting
Mm.
style. She's very exciting, and I think it's
Fact.
only the fact that she doesn't get finishes that doesn't catapult her into that stardom. And
Mm-hmm.
she's such an up and down fighter. Like she'll go
Yeah.
out, put on a clinic of a performance. The next time you see her, like the fighter that you previously saw is like a whole completely different fighter. Like
Mm.
you don't
Mm.
understand how she doesn't come in, just cap- capitalizes on that confidence that she builds off a win and then goes
Mm-hmm.
forward and then
Mm-hmm.
keeps racking up wins together.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in this fight, I do like Mackenzie Dern because I think Mackenzie
Mm.
Dern has just put in like a lot of hard work over the last couple of
I can
I
believe
would
that.
say 18 months.
I can
Um,
believe that.
I, I've every time I've seen Mackenzie Dern, since she lost against Jessica Andrade, I
Mm.
think every time I've seen Mackenzie Dern after that, she's added like a new wrinkle to her game.
Yeah.
Which previously I felt like she didn't have that. I felt like she just relied on her jiu-jitsu because she is a black belt. She is
Yeah.
significantly much better than most of the
Most of
women's
them.
division, and
Yeah.
she used to get like a lot of submissions and
Yes.
decisions because she could control them on the ground and
Yeah.
control top position. But I think like since that loss against Jessica Andrade, I've seen more wrinkles to her game. I've seen her stand up, become a little bit better. It's not
Mm.
world class yet, but I think like she can put a 1-2 together before a
Yeah.
shot, and she adds like a different wrinkle. I do think this is a great matchup for Amanda Ribas because, like I said, uh, I think either fighter can take the victory here and then move themselves forward and look
Mm.
to put in like a good year, and maybe by December of this year we could see one of the ladies fighting for a championship. Um,
Ooh. Ooh. Big cool.
I think like you if you fight in Jan, you can string 3 fights for the year together at
You
least.
can. And
So
I would think it's safe to say that both these women, particularly Mackenzie Dunn, likes to stay active. I think they're not getting
mm,
any younger. You know what I mean? Both these ladies are getting a bit older, so they want to at this point start to hone in on a more of a championship run. I think it's a fair statement to make. It's a good one. Who do you think gets the job done and how?
uh I don't see a finish for this fight. I give it to Mackenzie Dern.
Mm,
Um, via
mm,
decision. I think she'll she'll be able to navigate Amanda Ribas on the feet, and then if Amanda Ribas does revert to a takedown, I think Mackenzie Dern then can her jiu-jitsu should be able to hold up enough for her to stay in top control. I don't see Ribas getting submitted, but I think Mackenzie Dern will be able to control her on the ground and have
mm,
a lot of success with ground and pound or throwing up a submission.
mm.
So I do see her getting it done that way.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, Babu. Just because you described it really nicely when you were saying the last 18 months of the two fighters. I think it's safe to say that Mackenzie then has shown us the growth, and she looks to have more momentum on her side between the two of them. And Mackenzie then has also, for lack of a better term, she's just become a lot more aggressive and confident in herself, and not overtly relying on her jiu-jitsu, which it's a bread and butter, and we know she's good at that. But she's shown us that she can do it. Um, Showing us that she's starting to include more stuff to a game, especially a stand-up part. And because of that, I am going to give it to Mackenzie Dern. It's probably the first time I'm actually going to bet for Mackenzie Dern to win. But I think it's
So,
just because
so
the last two, it's the first time for you. So I just think it's because, like you said, the last year and a half at least, she's shown us that she's been a bit better. She's been more active than Amanda as well. So for that reason, I'm going to say Mackenzie Dern is going to get the job done over Amanda. But it's a high-profile fight. It's for high spot rankings for this division as well. So both these women are going to obviously go out there and put on a barn burner for us. So a good matchup for the UFC to put together. So yeah, I think the two of us are going to go Mackenzie Dern. For you guys watching out there, let us know in the comments who do you think gets the job done between the two ladies in the main event for this weekend, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. But for now, Barbara, we are going to keep it moving nice and swimmingly to the co-main event between Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris. This is a welterweight clash, and quite exciting because I haven't seen Santiago fight for such a long time. I think he lost his last fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Muslim Salikov.
Yes. There we go. So a little bit of numbers for this fight as well. Santiago Ponzinibbio's record is 30 wins, 8 losses, and 0 no contests, which is quite mad. A lot of fights. 16 wins by KO, 6 wins by submission, and 14 first-round finishes. That's really good. 41% striking accuracy, which is really fantastic in the UFC. Got 32% takedown accuracy and a 67% takedown defense. He's also quite active when it comes to stand-up game because he's got a 4.74 significant strikes landed per minute. Like you just mentioned, he lost to Salikov in his last fight, which is shocking because Salikov is an old dude, and Ponzinibbio was on the climb until not anymore. I think when he lost to Kevin Holland, he looked a bit shooketh for me. I mean, when he lost to Pereira, I was like, something's up here. And then obviously his last win came against Morono, who was also struggling to kind of find his feet in the UFC. As for Carlston Harris, his record is 19 wins, 6 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 5 wins by KO, 6 wins by submission, and 6 first-round finishes. This is actually going to be a very, very good fight based on those numbers. 49% striking accuracy with a 29% takedown accuracy and a 56% takedown defense. His last fight, he lost to Chaos Williams by KO, and then also he beat Wiles by submission before that. I think he was on a fight win streak he won 4 of his 6 fights in the UFC, excuse me. That is Carlston Harris. Where in this fight, I think it's safe to say that Santiago's got the experience, but is it at the point where his career is going down and Carlston's the one that's coming up? Babu, how do you think this fight takes place?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Ponzinibbio, I think he's on the decline. Nothing against Muslim Salikov because we've seen Muslim Salikov go on like I think it's 3-fight win streak now. He's beat Ponzinibbio, and then in his last fight he had that massive KO and
spinning kick.
It's hard to look at Salikov now at 40 years old getting the job done, but I just think the opponents might not just be on the way up, and I think just in terms of skill for skill, I think that Muslim Salikov has the skills to put you out. And Ponzinibbio, I think early in his career he was very much a KO puncher. I think he had that one shot KO, and he was on a fight streak. And then I think he came up against the Leech, and the Leech put him out. And then since then it's been a bit rough for him. I think in that Michel Pereira fight, I think that's where I started to see a bit of decline in him, and
that's where I saw it as well.
He's on his last. I think on the other side, Charleston Harris, I think he's had a good run thus far. Like you said, I think it's 4 out of 6, and it was against Chaos Williams and it was against Shavkat. It's hard.
Well, good fighters.
I mean, both good fighters. I mean, Chaos Williams on the rise at the moment. I think he's putting performance after performance, so you have to give it there. And then Shavkat is the boogeyman of the division. I mean, it's very, very few fighters that you put up against Shavkat and you think that they're gonna come out there. But I think in this fight, I would tip my hat towards Charleston. I think it should be a fun fight. I mean, I don't think you or I have a bit of skin in the game here. I think both we're just watching this fight as a neutral, and it would be interesting to see if Charleston Harris gets it done. What's next for him? Can he put together a nice run and then make a crack at the top 15? Because he's had a taste of Shavkat already, and
Yeah. Yeah.
would be interesting to see if he can climb the ranks in the same way.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think the fight's gonna. It's one of those things that UFC put together for Carlston in the sense that if you can take out Santiago, then there's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way that we can deny you the top 15 ranking or deny you to go into that top 15 and take on the rest of the ranking. Because I think Santiago Ponzinibbio at this stage of his career is like the I don't want to say gatekeeper of the welterweight division, but it's a recognizable name. And I think if fighting someone like him is like you're fighting against someone that's got so much experience in this organization, then it's going to put a feather in your cap regardless. You know what I mean? So I think it's that kind of matchup. If Santiago wins, it's like, okay, cool. Well, you silenced sort of a prospect. You know what I mean?
Cool, you stay where you are.
You stay where
I
you
think,
are, exactly.
Yeah, I think Ponzinibbio and Jeff Neal is like around about in that same bracket where, like, yes, we're gonna give you young guys, and if you win, cool. You're not gonna move up. You're not gonna move down. You just stay where you are, unless like you can put together like 3 or 4 fights, like constantly winning. But with Ponzinibbio as well as Jeff Neal, it's so hard to see them like go on back-to-back win streaks. So
not right now,
you know,
especially because that division is really stacked with young guys and young, really good guys. You know that welterweight is really it's full of some fantastic fighters, and I struggle to see the guys that are like over 35 sort of making a run at it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards, all of them, they're all still under 35. I think like 33, 34. I think the oldest one is Usman at the moment, but everyone else is under 35. So that's a very, very prime stacked welterweight division right now. And I don't know if Ponzinibbio can go away, as in Carlston can, if he can put a nice string of victories together for the 2025, he can make himself a top 15, top 10 kind of guy. But okay, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this fight. Obviously, Babu and I give us our consensus. We are tipping it towards Carlston. I don't know, Babu, I didn't ask you how do you think who's going to get it done? Carlston as well. So Carlston. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
The thing about maybe exactly. That's what I'm also thinking. That's literally what I'm thinking, Babu. Because the kind of fight that Ponzinibbio puts you in is the we're gonna go into a phone booth and we're gonna box. I'm not gonna try and wrestle you. I'm gonna try and finish you. And I think Carlston is probably going to kind of accept that kind of game. We're like, yes, let's stand up and fucking box. You know what I mean? Let's go. Yeah. He's probably gonna do that to him, you know. So exciting co-main event. Really am. I can't wait for that one as well. So good fight card from the UFC. All right, Babu, we're gonna keep it moving nicely to our next fight on the fight card, which I also think is going to be a banger, to be quite honest with you. We're going to move to the middleweight division, and we're going to see Cesar Almeida taking on Abdul Razak Alhassan, or Alhassan, if you want to pronounce it. And this is a middleweight bout, so obviously we know the beef that Abdul Razak has with Ribas. So he's obviously going to want to try and make a run in this division. Cesar Almeida, he's no slouch. He is no slouch. I mean, let me give some numbers on Cesar Almeida. His record is currently 6 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He's got 4 wins by KO, 3 first round finishes, 58% striking accuracy with a 58% takedown defense. He's got a 4.12 significant strikes landed per minute. He beat Ihor Potieria, who's actually fighting on this fight card by unanimous decision in his last fight, and then he lost to Kopylov, who's also fighting on this fight card in the fight before that. Whereas Abdul Razak Alhassan, his record is 12 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest, which 12 wins by KO, and he's got 11 first-round finishes. He's got a 50% striking accuracy with a 38% takedown accuracy and a 52% takedown defense. In his last fight, he went to a no contest against Cody Brandage, and then his fight before that, he lost to Joe Pfeiffer by submission. All right, Babu, give me your thoughts on these two guys for this matchup in the middleweight division, because I think it's safe to say that both of them are trying to make a run and trying to get themselves ranked. So I think this fight can definitely put them in a position where they can make some noise to get that ranking. How do you think? How do you feel about this one?
This is the fight that I'm looking at on the fight card, and I think this could be a knockout of the night. Abdul Razak, I know he's quite a controversial figure. He sees some mad things, and it seems like he give you the headline, and then you wait like maybe 2-3 days before the whole story come out. Like this man, every time I've seen him on media days, he say
Yeah.
something wild. I don't understand how it fits in, and then 2-3 days go past, and then like the backstory comes to why he said
Mm.
it. But yeah, he's like I'm not a fan of his
Me too.
personality.
Not
Like
right now.
his fighting style, he's exciting. He gets the job done.
Yeah.
He generally gets it done by a KO. He carries a
Yes.
bit of power in his hands as well as his kicks. And
Yeah.
then on the other side, Cesar, like he's a bit green to the UFC. He's had a couple of
Mm.
fights. I don't think his opponents thus far has really highlighted him too much. Um, I think
Yeah.
like coming into this fight, I think he can, if he gets the job done, this would be like one of that marquee like opponents that he could tick off and like look
Mm.
to really catapult him into another fight, which could be a nice name, a big name,
Yeah.
somebody that's
Yeah.
known by the crowd. Um, I think Abdul Razak is a nice stepping stone. Do I think he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna get it done? Don't think so. I think Abdul Razak gets it done in the first round. I think he
Yo.
honestly, I think he just lands something big,
Yo.
like a left hook or like an overhand right. Um, and it stuns Caesar, and Caesar is gonna be like a deer in headlights. I just
Yeah.
can't see him. I feel like if he can navigate the waters,
Yeah.
then it would make me buy a bit of stock in him. I
Mm.
think so far what I've seen of him, I'm not really there yet to buy some stock in
Yeah.
him, just because
I agree.
he has too much holes in his game thus far. But I- you never know what he's been doing in the off season. If he's
You don't
been
know.
if he's been getting better significantly,
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. But I'll be the one optimistic here. And then
Yeah.
I think Abdul Razak, he's the one that like has had good names. He's had Joe Pfeiffer, he's
Yeah.
had Buckley. Uh,
Yes.
they we know their names, and
Yes.
he has a win over Nico Price as well. So
Yeah.
like you have to put a bit of stock in him and
Yeah.
tip your hat to him, because
Mm-hmm.
he's been the one that's been in the UFC getting the job done here and there. He's taken
Yeah.
a couple of losses, but he's accustomed to the stage, and I think that experience will definitely be something.
Mm. I, I I want to agree with you, but I can't shake the thought of feeling this fight could potentially be boring also. The other side to that
Mm,
same coin, because there's the makings of being a first round finish, because both guys got first round finishes. I mean, Razak has got 11 first round finishes, and Cesar Almeida has got 3. And four of his 6 wins came out from knockouts. 3 of that 4 was first rounds. So they both have that thing of putting fights away within that first round. But fighters like that don't have the sort of, they don't know how to tread the water once it goes a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? Once you go past that first round or second round, then what happens with fighters like these, they end up overtly wrestling because they get a bit too tired because I can't put this person away anymore. Now I have to rest my arms. Now we're gonna end up just whip blinking each other and see whoever gets the takedown and lays on top for the longest is probably gonna win the fight. And what happens is they don't get knockouts, we don't get submissions. We get to see 10 more minutes of guys that are these big middleweight guys that just wrestle and don't do anything after that. So especially now we're going to move into the era of UFC of 12 to 6 elbows, knees to a downward opponent. So I hope that that's going to change that so that fighters like this, for example, when they get tired after the first round, they can't just lay there anymore and kind of just, secure the round by laying there. You're going to have to fight, because if you lay there, you're probably going to get kneed in the face. So I'm hoping the fight doesn't go that way. But anyway, let me know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the comments what you think about this fight. I think it plays out. I'm gonna go with a first round finish because it's got that making. Both these guys are gonna hunt for it. But if no one gets stopped in that first round, I'm gonna be very, very fucking upset. And it's because it's gonna be a boring
same,
second and third round. It's gonna be very
same.
boring after that. But let's see. Let's know in the comments how you think it plays out. Myself and Babu are a little bit apprehensive towards that one, but we are excited to watch it nonetheless.
Also, start of the year, we're allowed to be a bit blood hungry. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes. I
Please,
agree.
ladies and gentlemen, give us that. It's January. We haven't seen anything yet for the year. We just a bit thirsty.
You know what I mean? We're moving into a new fight week. We're expecting some bangers. We're expecting to kick off the year with something amazing. You know what I mean? But okay, Babu, let's keep it moving to the next bout on the main card. And we are seeing Sean Strickland's training partner, Chris Curtis, taking on Roman Kopylov, who I just spoke about before this. This is a middleweight clash between two really good fighters. I'm going to give some numbers on Chris Curtis before we go into it a little bit more. Chris Curtis has got amazing numbers. He's got 31 wins, 11 losses, 0 no contests. That's a hell of a lot of fights in MMA. He's got 17 wins by KO, 1 win by submission, 7 first round finishes, and 51% striking accuracy. 83% takedown defense with a 5.76 significant strikes landed per minute, one of the highest on the fight card this weekend. In his last fight, he beat Brennan Allen by unanimous decision. And before that, he also beat Mark Baralio. Was it also by decision? He stopped him, I think. Yeah, he stopped him. Roman Kopylov, on the other hand, his record is 13 wins, 3 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 11 wins by KO, 2 wins by decision, and 1 first round finish. Got a 54% striking accuracy with a 54% takedown accuracy and an 87% takedown defense with a 4.33 significant strikes landed per minute. His last fight, he beat Cesar Almeida by split decision, and also before that, he lost to Fluffy Hernandez by sub. Before that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak, which I was quite impressed by the way. I dig this style. I thought it was quite aggressive. It's nice and tall, got good length. He could box really well. He can submit and finish people. He's got good striking. And I thought he was going to be a puzzle until he went and got that loss to Fluffy Hernandez. But Fluffy Hernandez is obviously a dog in the middleweight division. Chris Curtis, I want to hype him up as much as his numbers are hyping him up. But when I watch him fight, I don't feel the same hype. I don't know if you can share the same sentiment, Babu. But I'm gonna keep my thoughts on this one a bit more reserved because I'm yet to be put in awe by Chris Curtis. Give me your thoughts on this one, Babu.
Yo, bruh, I am the most fan person of Chris Curtis, bruh. This man, I feel like he watches his fight completely through a whole different lens compared to everybody else. Because the way he explains his performances, like you would think it's a classic. And then you go watch the fight and you're like, buddy, like you landed one overhand, but before you landed that overhand, you were getting pieced left, right, and center. Like you have a good chin, which keeps you in the fight, but like the performance itself does not reflect the way you speak.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan yet of Roman.
Yes.
But I have bought a bit of stock in him. I do like his fighting style.
Me too.
One thing that I love of his is that he's not a quick starter. He's a very timed person. He's a very timed fighter. His first round, he gets the range, he gets the timing, and generally round 2 is his dangerous round where he can put you out. Once he gets your timing, once he gets your range, he starts landing beautiful combinations. And from what I can remember in the Fluffy fight, it's just Fluffy was a dog. He touched Fluffy a couple of times, and Fluffy's chin really held up in that fight where he just couldn't put him away. And at the end of the day, Fluffy landed a takedown, saw an opening, and then wrapped him up quick and tight. I do think that is the hole in Roman's game. It's the grappling aspect.
Yeah.
But Chris Curtis, you don't have no jiu-jitsu like that, so it's a perfect fight for him. I do think that Roman can get the win here. I'm rooting for Roman to get the win here because Chris Curtis, he just needs to move out of the division, move out of the UFC, because this man is delusional in all senses of everything. But that's just me being biased. I think my unbiased opinion on Chris Curtis is that he does get the job done here and there. He's beat some good fighters. He's been stacked up against the who's who in the division. He's been against Buckley. He's been against Castrum. Evolov. He's been he's been against Bren, and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
so he's been against a Manson. So he's fought those who he has the experience on his side. He,
Yeah.
I don't think Roman can offer him something that he hasn't seen before, but I do
Mm-hmm.
think that Roman can have the power to put him
Yeah.
out, and I do think Roman will finish in round two. I think it's KO. I think it's a
Yo.
TKO finish for Roman. I think he gets him down and just start raining down on that ground and pound. And I don't think Chris
Mm.
Curtis comes back.
Mm. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree because I think Chris Curtis hits hard. I'm gonna clip that whole part of you describing that you're not a fan of it because that's the best thing ever. Because it's the
Ah,
best way to
bro, he's
describe how
cat,
Chris
bro.
Curtis. He does describe his fights as if it's like the most barn burn fight you'll ever see, and then you watch it and you're like, yo, you're not even throwing anything. And he's really sluggish. I mean, he's got power, but he telegraphs a lot of his strikes, and I think Kopylov is going to be too smart for that, too quick for that even, and I think Kopylov might even put him out in the first round. Chris Curtis is just he's a slow starter, slow finisher. Really rarely does he get involved where you can be like, yo, you piece that person up like to the point where people must watch out to fight against you. You know what I mean? I've always bet against him, and I'm gonna bet against him again in this one. And I would pray to the fighter gods, if there are any, that Chris Curtis can prove us wrong here at fighting with friends. But I
Nah,
don't
Chris
see it
Curtis is
happening.
ass cheeks, bro. He's ass cheeks.
He's ass cheeks. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Roman Kopylov as well. I think he's probably gonna get the finish, possibly second round as well. But there's another comments, ladies and gentlemen, what you think about it. Obviously, you can see where we stand yet fighting with friends with regards to Chris Curtis. We are not the biggest fans. But we'll keep it moving to a fight that I'm actually quite intrigued for, to be quite honest, Babu. It is in the featherweight division. Bring it up to the stage there and then move this one. There we go. We have Christian Rodriguez taking on Austin Bashi, who's making his UFC debut this weekend in the featherweight division. Like I said, I'm going to give some numbers before we crunch the fight. Christian Rodriguez's record is 11 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest, 3 wins by KO, 4 wins by submission, 5 first round finishes, 48% striking accuracy with a 55% takedown accuracy, as well as a 66% takedown defense. Very well rounded fighter if you think about it. Um, he's got a striking differential of 3.65 significant strikes landed per minute. He lost to Erosa by submission in his last fight. Before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak, beating fighters like Raul Ruiz Jr. and Cameron Simon, who have been climbing the ranks really quickly in that division. His opponent, Austin Bashi, is currently standing at 13 wins and 0 losses, 0 no contests. He's got 3 wins by KO, 5 wins by submission, 3 first round finishes with a 52% striking accuracy, 86% takedown accuracy, which is very high, and a 75% takedown defense. Get this though. This is the most staggering part of it all. 18.18 takedown average per 15 minutes. Let that sink in for a second. And like I said, this is his UFC debut. So what we're expecting here is a heavily stylistic matchup between a very well-rounded MMA fighter and a very heavy-duty wrestler in Austin Bashi. Obviously, he's got good submission games as well. I haven't seen him fight, but he's obviously on the main card. He looks to be very young if you look at that baby face on screen. And he's undefeated as well. So the UFC is obviously putting stock in this guy, taking on someone like Christian Rodriguez, who has been silencing up-and-coming prospects like Raul Ruiz Jr., for example. So, Babu, how do you think this fight takes place, my friend?
um, I'm just looking at Austin Bashi now. I'm looking at his
Yeah,
record. He He's a wrestler, that's for sure. I think
yeah,
he
you
has 2
can
knockouts,
see.
and that was in his amateur fights. That's the
Mm-hmm,
2 KOs that he does have. But since
mm-hmm.
we're turning professional, it seems that he's quite a submission guy.
That's his
Um,
game.
and and looks like he's able to navigate waters as well. Because I see there's a 5 rounder that he went to
Mm,
decision with, so he should have the cardio then for that.
yeah,
He is a young fighter. He's first fight on the UFC main card. He comes through
mm,
Dana White's contender series.
contender. Yeah,
So going from the contender series to the main card is a bit of a step up against Christian
yeah,
Rodriguez. Like you said, has has been on the main card a couple of times. He's put on a show for us. I
Yes.
think in the chat Simon fight, he turned
Yeah.
me into a fan because he can really take a punch. He can
Yeah.
really navigate waters.
Yeah.
He can get sucked into sometimes a slugfest,
Mm,
but for
mm.
the most part, he seemed to be quite a intelligent fighter. Knows
Yes.
when to break your rhythm. He knows how
Yes.
to like circle himself. He has very nice movement. I think that's what really makes me a fan. It's his movement and the angles that he picks to engage you
Mm-mm.
with. Um,
Mm.
but I'm interested to see if Christian Rodriguez can navigate that heavy wrestling style of Bashi. I think with the new with the current champions that's
Mm.
in the UFC being so wrestling dominant, um, I think wrestling should be something that every fighter that's up and
Yes.
coming should have in the arsenal, and
Yeah.
to be a defensive wrestler as well as a attacking wrestler.
Yeah.
So hopefully Christian Rodriguez has worked on his wrestling game and he can really put Austin Bashi through the ringer, and we can
Mm.
see something of 3 rounds of experience come through. Um,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think Rodriguez puts him out, but I do think Rodriguez gets his way with Austin Bashi. I think the lights are going to be a bit too bright for him. I think the step up in opponent
Mm.
is a bit too big for a youngster.
Big call. Big call. I mean,
Mm,
I want to agree with it because of Christian Rodriguez, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you said he uses very good angles. His footwork is amazing, and I was very impressed in both that Cameron Simon and Raul Rose Jr. fights because he was able to be the matador to the bull. You know what I mean? He was able to handle them because both of them are young. Cameron and Raul, they're both very young and they both fight with a heavy pace and they want to stay on you and they want to keep you going backwards. And he was able to navigate both of them with ease. Actually, he wasn't struggling too much, and I like that. I like how one of his best weapons is his composure. I expect Austin
mm,
Bashi to come in very hot in this fight. I expect him to come in very hot from the get go, try and get Christian down almost instantly, and go straight to his domain. But I think he might come up against a rude awakening and realize that it's not easy to actually take Christian Rodriguez down and to actually keep him there. He's very tough to do that too. And like you say, he's got good boxing. He's cutting angles is one of the best things he can do. So it might be a long night for Austin Bashi. But listen, he's a prospect. He's undefeated. The UFC's obviously putting numbers on him. This might be a lure to get us into bet on the underdog. I think he might be the underdog. There's no props out or betting numbers out just yet. But I've got the feeling that Austin Bashi might be the underdog here. I might want to lure people into bet on him to win, but I wouldn't do that if I was you. So
mm.
I'm gonna go with you and say Christian Rodriguez to get the job done over the course of 3 rounds. He's gonna win by unanimous decision. Now, Babu, this is time of the show where we are going to go to the prelims, and you're gonna give us some cool names to look out for on the list of preliminary fights.
On the prelim fights, as you can see there, Mark DeLeo, he
Mm,
is
mm.
the co co-main for the prelims.
Yes.
Um, he's a fighter whose name has been ringing around the UFC for a bit of a minute. He is on a 8 fight win streak at the moment. He's put his
Oosh.
opponents out like with spinning back kicks. He's
Mm.
dropped a couple of his opponents with one punch knockouts. He's an exciting fighter. He is a bit on the older side. He is 30 years old.
That's all
His
right.
record stands at the moment 12-1,
Mm.
8 wins by KO, one by submission, three by decision. He's an exciting fighter. He,
Nice.
he he's somebody that I think that could be climbing the ranks very quickly.
Yeah.
He does come against Eagle, who you have seen before,
Mm.
and I think that both fighters are young in their career in terms
Yeah.
of the UFC. Um, but we could see a very exciting fight from these two if you are tuning in to the prelims. Another fighter
Yeah.
that I want to highlight is the guy just below Mr. Leo, and that is Thiago Moises,
Mm.
a fighter that comes in with a bunch of hype. Like
Yeah.
his name has been around the UFC forever, and people
Mm.
say he's the guy. He has everything. He's a well-rounded fighter. He has a ground game. He has knockout power. They think that he just needs to put these performances together,
Yeah.
and we could see him like fighting against Makachev again, because he
Mm.
has fought
Mm.
against Makachev
Yeah.
previously. He's lost, but he lost in the fourth round against Islam Makachev, and that is the current champion of the division. And
Yeah.
not a lot of people go that long against
Yeah.
Islam Makachev. So he's the guy that you would be looking at. I do think the UFC will try to fast track him because there is a built-in storyline, the rematch for
Mm.
him
Mm.
against Islam. So I think if he
Yeah.
can
I
get
can
a
see it.
couple of wins under his belt, we
Yeah.
could be seeing him fast track Alex Pereira style. And you never know. You never know. We could have a superstar on
Yeah.
our hands here.
It's very possible. I mean, I've been following Thiago Moises for a while, and he definitely has the making to be one of those fighters that can just dominate the division. But I think first and foremost, he has to string more than a couple of wins together. I think he should take the opportunity for 2025 to do that, to string at least 2 to 3 wins, like really good wins. Because I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has a ranking anymore. He was a ranked fighter at one
No.
stage.
Mm,
Yeah, he doesn't have a ranking anymore. So he's gonna have to obviously put together at least 3 phenomenal wins together, to get some kind of stock again and potentially get that fast, like as you say. But I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen for the rest of the fights for this weekend. But anyway, it is UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Ribas 2. Babu, any final words before we conclude here for our first preview of the UFC for the year?
yo, I'm just expecting a good fight card. I'm looking for a couple of banging knockouts here.
Yeah.
I'm looking for at least on the main card. I'm looking at least 4 finishes, and
Yo!
I think I'm one in my rights here. Letting it be January, everybody's excited. Keep me entertained. UFC Apex. Give me something. Give me something.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. Thank you to Babu. Much appreciated, brother. Everyone else that's watching out there, thank you for supporting. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can catch myself and the team when we do our recap for these amazing events that's taking place this weekend. For now, stay safe, stay blessed, and you will catch us on the next one for the rest of the week. What you can expect from us. Sorry, Babu. Last thing I want to say before they can expect from us is the One Championship Fight Night 27 preview that's coming out not a bit later. That's going to be tomorrow. And we're also going to do a UFC parlay pick episode for this fight card as well as tomorrow. And then I'm potentially working in a live for One Championships Fight Night 27 that comes this weekend. I'm not sure yet. Letting you guys know right now that there may or may not be a live right there. But otherwise, thank you for supporting. You can catch myself and Babu and the panel come this weekend. For that, stay safe, stay blessed, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Oh, that's the